Rome, around 1600. Not the polite Rome, not the marble postcard Rome. This is alleyway Rome. Knife in the boot Rome, debt Rome, dirt under the nails Rome. And in the middle of it, a painter with a temper that shows up before he does. His name is Michelangelo Merisi. But nobody calls him by that. They call him Caravaggio. And if you say it in the wrong tone, somebody might flinch. Because this guy wasn't just painting saints. He was throwing punches. He was running his mouth. He was living like the devil owed him rent. And somehow, he became the most dangerous genius in the room. Welcome to Art Happens, the divine mess of art history, presented by J-Squared Atelier. I'm James William Moore, and this is Artist Snapshot, where we grab one artist, one life, one lightning bolt moment, and see what it did to the world. Today, Caravaggio, the brawler who painted light. If you've ever seen a Caravaggio in person, you know the first thing you feel isn't beauty. It's pressure. Like the painting is a doorway and someone just kicked it open. Because Caravaggio didn't use light like a spotlight. He used it like a verdict. One slash of illumination. Everything else swallowed in black. That style gets called chiaroscuro, strong contrast of light and dark. But with Caravaggio, it's not just technique. It's cinema before cameras, a close-up before film, a confession before the trial. His figures don't glow, they get caught. And that's the genius. He painted the instant where truth can't hide anymore. Now, here's where Caravaggio throws a punch at art history. For centuries, holy figures were polished, idealized, too clean, and too calm. Caravaggio said no. His saints look like they just came in from the rain, or slept on the floor, or got dragged into the scene 5 minutes ago. He paints dirty feet, wrinkled hands, crooked noses, bruised knuckles. The sacred isn't floating above the world. It's sitting at the table with the gamblers. And for the church, this was complicated. Because on one hand, the drama was irresistible. On the other hand, saints weren't supposed to look like someone who might steal your wallet. But Caravaggio's point is brutal and brilliant. If holiness matters, it has to matter here, in the messy human world, not in some airbrushed heaven. Caravaggio wasn't painting religion like decoration. He was painting it like a crime scene. Think about who he chooses to show. Not the afterglow, not the perfect moral ending. He loves the moment where everything tilts. A hand reaches, a blade flashes, a head turns, a face realizes. It's always the second before the point of no return. And that's why it feels modern. Because modern storytelling, movies, TV, photography, is obsessed with that exact thing. The turning point, the reveal, the consequence loading in the chamber. Caravaggio painted tension like it was a human body. But here's the problem. Caravaggio wasn't just depicting violence. He was actively involved in it. He got into fights constantly. He was arrested multiple times. He carried weapons. He lived like every night was an argument waiting to happen. And eventually, inevitably, it escalates. A fight, a duel, a death. And suddenly, Caravaggio isn't just controversial. He's a fugitive. Imagine it, the most electrifying painter in Rome, running for his life. And he keeps painting, not from a comfortable studio, but from the road, from hiding, from borrowed rooms. His art becomes sharper, darker, more haunted. Because now he knows what it feels like to be the man in the shadows. This is part of his story that feels like a thriller. He moves, he disappears, he reappears somewhere else. And everywhere he goes, the paintings follow like smoke trails. You can almost feel the urgency in the brushwork, like he's painting fast, not because he's sloppy, but because time is a door that's closing. There's a paranoia that creeps into the compositions, a tightening, and the light becomes even more extreme, as if Caravaggio is painting with the belief that darkness is not a metaphor. It's a place you can actually end up. So why does Caravaggio matter? Because he changed the rules. He proved you could paint the sacred without pretending people are perfect. He made realism feel like revelation. He made light into psychology. He made darkness into consequence. And he made art feel like it had stakes. Before him, painting could be impressive. After him, painting could be dangerous. Artists across Europe started copying that punch of illumination, that theatrical truth. Because once you see a face emerging from darkness like a confession, it's hard to go back to polite, evenly lit perfection. Caravaggio didn't just influence painting. He invented a kind of visual language we still speak today in film noir shadows, stage lighting, portrait photography, even music videos. It's the language of, look here, this is the moment, this is the cost. Now, there's always the temptation to romanticize him. The tortured genius, the rebel, the outlaw with talent. But let's be real. Caravaggio didn't have a cute bad boy phase. His violence was not aesthetic. It had consequences for other people. And still, we can't ignore what he did with paint. That's the mess of art history. Sometimes genius comes wrapped in a warning label. Sometimes the person who shows you truth is also the person who's likely to shatter a glass in your face. Caravaggio didn't paint holiness. He painted the moment before the consequence. Because in his world, light isn't comfort. Light is evidence. And that's Caravaggio, not a gentle genius, a storm with a paintbrush. Because what he really gave us wasn't just a look, it was a feeling. That sudden slash of light that says, here, now, this matters. That darkness, that isn't mysterious, it's weight. It's consequence. And maybe that's why we can't quit him. Because we live in an age of perfect images, filters, polish, curated shine. And Caravaggio comes in like a door kicked open and reminds us the truth is rarely well lit. But let's not confuse the myth for the man. He wasn't edgy. He wasn't misunderstood. He was volatile. And people around him paid for it. And still, the paintings remain. And we have to sit with that uncomfortable fact that art history isn't clean. Sometimes the work that changes everything comes from hands that couldn't stop making a mess. So the next time you see a Caravaggio, in a museum, in a book, on a screen, watch what the light does. Who gets revealed? Who gets swallowed by the shadows? What moment he chooses, and what it's asking you to admit. Because for Caravaggio, light isn't hope. Light is proof. Thanks for spending this artist snapshot with me on Art Happens, the divine mess of art history, presented by J-Squared Atelier. If you're enjoying the show, follow or subscribe wherever you listen, and leave a review. It genuinely helps more people find their way into the messy, brilliant back rooms of art history. And if you want more art, more behind the scenes, more projects, more conversations, come find us at Lattes and Art, also presented by J-Squared Atelier. I'm James William Moore. Until next time, keep looking longer and don't trust the shadows. They're always hiding a story.